Steve Gamache with a Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and this time we are looking at the Richmond Sakai white number 2 Nakiri 170mm knife. This line of knives is a core steel of Shirogami or white paper number 2 reactive carbon steel. The heat treats are around 61 Rockwell on that core steel, and the construction is a iron cladding, reactive iron cladding over the top of that core steel. You can see the line of demarcation there, and it's got a Kudauchi blacksmith finish on top of that iron cladding to help reduce reactivity. It's a kind of a smooth matte finish to it. The weight on the knife is 5.9 ounces, 167 grams. Blade length around 170, and the overall length is about 311 millimeters on this sample. The spine thickness up here above the chin or back part of the knife is about 3 millimeters, and it holds that pretty darn close. Slims up just a touch, but it pretty much holds that throughout the length of the blade. The height on this is about 48 millimeters back by the chin, heel area, and then in the middle it's about 50 on this. I usually take 2 measurements there. Part of that's it's got a little bit of belly to it. The handle is one of Isaiah's semi-customs, octagonal maple with a wenge ferrule, and it's around just under 3 inches in circumference, slightly under 3 inches. Let's take a close-up look. The blade itself has some, it's nicely chiseled kanji. It's fairly delicate, but it's kind of, unfortunately, it's covered up a little bit by the KU finish, but it is certainly there. And these have nice grinds on them. They're well-crafted knives. The KU finish, as I said, is matte but smooth. And you've got your typical sandblasted finish on the blade road down towards the core. These do have lacquer on them down here, so you'll need to sharpen these out of the box to get that lacquer off the edge if there is some. So you might find out of the box isn't super sharp, and that's because of that lacquer extending sometimes just all the way on covering the edge steel as well. So you need to expose that to get full performance out of these. Nice fit and finish on these as well. And the you've got enough relief here to make them pretty comfortable on the spine choil imoto area, and they're pretty comfortable out of the box. Let's take a look at the profile and then what it looks like on the cutting board. So here's your edge profile. And this one has a fair amount of belly for Nakiri. So if you like a little rock style, a little bit more belly in a Nakiri, this might be a good choice for you. It's not super flat like some Nakiris are. On the board itself, here's what it looks like. So you do have a pointed tip on this versus a rounded tip. And the advantage of that pointed tip is precision. So it's really good for precision slices and smaller ingredients. And also you can take and just swipe the knife and draw it along the board to make strips. Let's say bell peppers, for example. It's kind of fun to do that. It's harder to do with a rounder tip. On the other hand, you can't lift it as high and get a round area to glide through for a rock cut, but the blade itself has enough belly where it glides pretty well. So not a super flat Nakiri, but if you like a little more rock style to your cut, or you don't mind a little bit of movement in your push or pull to utilize that belly, then this might be a good profile for you if you don't like super flat profiles. Again, nicely crafted knife. Once I sharpened it up a little bit, it got really sharp and took a nice edge. Balance point on this is right about there, which is pretty close to a pinch grip. So it's got a very neutral, kind of fairly nimble feel, but it's got a little bit of heft to it, being about 6 ounces, but still fairly neutral balance point to it. Just a well-crafted knife. So there you have another line that Mark has brought in, the Richmond Sakai white number 2 Nakiri 170mm knife.